So good morning and good evening. So we're going to start with the opening recitation. Dolo dhawa jibe drai no par jibe ge tarbadan tam je gembe bardu jobra jeba tam je ge se jibe ma nankada nyambe senjen tam je dewa dang den dunga dang nu du lana me pa yang Dabra zobe janjurim bhaje dobra jai Dala dhawa jebe drai no bar jebe ge Tarba dan tam je gembe bardu jobra jeba Tam je ge se jebe ma nang kadang nyampe senjen tam je dewa Dan den dung yao dang zhe nu du lan na me pa yang dabra zobe jang ju rin po je do bra jai da la dang wa je be drai no bar je be ge tar ba dan tam je gen be bar du jo bra je ba tam je ge se je be ma nang ga da Nam pe sen jen tam je de wa dan den dung yao dang zhe nu du la na me pa yang ta bra zo be jang ju ren po je do bra jai de je de sama ge ki par de long a yi sun ke wa la go ma shi par de long a yi sun ke wa la go Du dirine song de ne ma san ta sam ji bar du lu nga yi sun ge wa la gu song je jo da so ji jo nam la chang chu bar du da ne gyab su ji da ge jin so ge be so nang ge ro la Penchir sanje dru prashu sanje chodang soge chonam la chanchu bardu dhani kyabsu chi dhagi jinsu gebe sonang ki Drola penchir sanje dru prashu sanje chodang soge chonam la chanchu bardu dhani kyabsu chi dhagi jinsu gebe sonang ki Drola penchir sanje dru prashu manang kadang nyambe senchen tamche dewa dang dewe gindan dembra gyurji dungyao da dungyao ji gyudan dewa gyurji dungyao mepe dewa dhamme dewa gyurji nering chadang nidang Drawe Tanyang La Nebra Gyurje Manang Kada Nyampe Senjen Tamje Dewa Dang Dewe Gyudan Dembra Gyurje Dungyao Dan Tunyao Gi Gyudang Drawa Gyurje Dungyao Mepe Dewa Dame Drawa Gyurje Niding Chadang Nidang Drawe Tangyam La Nebra Gyurje Manang Kadang Nyampe Senchen Tamche Dewa Dang Dewe Kindan Dembra Gyurje Dungyao Dang Dungyao Ji Gyudang Dewa Gyurje Dungyao Mepe Dewa Dame Dewa Gyurje Nirin Chadang Nidang Dewe Tangyam La Nebra Gyurje Ndrije Changwan Tile Naro Dhamma Mi Dapo Padu Jitin Gun Katin Sundan Sawe La Me Shab Sachu La Ma Yi Dam Chok Yung La So Wa Depso Da Ju Jin Ju Lu Gyab Ringi Do Me Sam Ling Gen Rape Tung Son Yung La Gyab Zo Me Gyab Wa Dur Je Chang Pa Jitin Gun Bo Shab La Du Du Tang Tu Sam Gyu Gyo Le Me Jin Ji Lo Shi Tu Je Jin Ning Gi Mun Pa Se Ne Gyang Sem Do De Du Do Bra Jin Ju Lo jin jin na chan san pe ma ge sa tong po la ya sen ju ge ngo dim nye pe ma ju ne she she do go do ka do mo po kor ke ki je se tha do ke jin jin lo je she su so yo go do pe ma se de hong ngo me ju ge yi ge po dang ne de sun san je gong jin ngo mo ni rang sen ju gong ngo sun dong ze ba so we la me sha la so wa de sa je do ge ju shi me do zhang de la len shi nen den gen pa de san je sing du me de pu wa ye do go nam da shin la ger wa shu gu sun yong sa la me so nam la ji nang san su de shin ne ge ju da lo long zhe nang si yong shi la me ju ge ngo de se du so ja sa wa dan ju jing chong pa dan je se yi rang gu xin so wa yi给我从这大家去上班，他们就做被长久久，我过路的晚他给你了那么大了，说的就说好，人在能给上班的老眼睛大吉他吧，这种同盟太把也做给过了过了都说。In the chat room, I also shared a file. Some of you might be able to get it. If not, don't worry about it. This is the sevenfold or seven branch puja text from the Gandhabhriya. It's part of the Bodhisattva Samantabhadras. As we have seen up till now in the Bodhicharyavatara, in the context of generating bodhicitta, first are these eight. In Bodhicharyavatara it's eight because after paying homage, there's taking refuge. Normally, it's called the seven branch because paying homage, implied within paying homage is taking refuge. So in Shantideva, you get eight, but the more common is seven. Seven branches, seven components. So these seven are paying homage, making offerings, confessing, rejoicing, requesting the teachings, beseeching Buddhas to remain in the world, and then dedication. And as I mentioned, for those of you who identify as Dugong Kagyu followers, You should know that in Gilbert Rinpoche's biography, this particular practice is mentioned on many occasions. Other practices are mentioned usually just once. Like it says, oh, when he was young, he was an expert in Vajrakilaya. That is mentioned. Oh, later on, he received instructions on Vajrayogini. Later on, he did so many Vajrasattva recitation. But this sevenfold, seven branch puja, this is mentioned several times. So now I'm going to do the recitation of this text, and if in the translation rooms you can do it in the languages that is in that document, Chinese and Spanish, then those of you who are able to open that file, you can read along. If you're not able to, then just listen. In all the worlds of the 10 directions reside Tathagatas of the 3 times. Before each of you, lions among humans, I prostrate joyfully with body, speech, and mind. By the power of this aspiration to noble deeds, all conquerors appear vividly in my mind. With as many bodies as there are atoms in all lands, I prostrate to all you conquerors. In each atom are Buddhas numberless as atoms, all in the midst of the heirs of the Buddhas. Thus I conceive of this Dharma Dhatu as completely filled with you conquerors in this way. With infinite oceans of praise and oceans of diverse melodies, I sing the excellent qualities of all you conquerors and praise all of you gone to bliss. With the best flowers and best garlands, best music, ointments, and excellent parasols, finest lamps and superior incense I offer to you conquerors. With excellent garments and best fragrances and sandalwood powder heap high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings perfectly arranged I offer to you conquerors. These vast and unequal offerings to each and every one of you conquerors, with the power of conviction and noble deeds I prostrate and offer to all you conquerors. All the harmful deeds that I have done with my body, speech, and mind, under the power of desire, hatred, and ignorance, I confess each and every one of them. I rejoice in all the meritorious deeds of all the conquerors in the 10 directions, and the heirs of the Buddhas, solitary realizers, hearers still in training, and beyond, and all wandering beings. You who are lamps of the worlds of the 10 directions, who have unobstructedly attained Buddhahood through the stages of Bodhi, all you who are my protectors, please turn the unexhaled wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly beseech you who may intend to manifest final nirvana, please remain for as many eons as there are atoms in the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wandering beings. Whatever slight virtue that may have been gathered through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and beseeching, I now dedicate to complete Bodhi. So may you be inspired to also practice this. Initially, when you practice this, admittedly, it is just saying the words, saying the words, saying the words. Then as you say the words, you should start hearing those words. As you start hearing those words, you should start to wonder what they mean. It's a process. It takes time. Don't be so quick to think, I'm going to do everything perfect. We have the, somehow the thought, either I do it perfectly or I don't do it. This is just lack of patience and understanding of how we develop. So, at the beginning, just say, if you need to think, why am I saying this? Say it as an offering. Just think of it that way. I'm saying this as an offering. Whoever might hear it, seen or unseen beings who might hear this, who might read my mind when I'm saying the words and hearing the words myself, because some beings, they perceive things by reading our minds. And you think, whoever hear it directly, hear it indirectly, may this be an offering to them. So now, let's go back to the text. Last time we completed the section up until verse 10, which is the dedication. So today we're going to start this section that precedes, comes before the actual generation of bodhicitta. And this section is about lojong, or training the mind. Jung is to train. Lo is one of several words in Tibetan that we translate as mind. It could be translated as mind. It could be translated as thought. So lojong, training the mind, or attitude. You can also say that. So verse 11, Shantideva starts with, he says, so actually, let's do this. Let's together read verse 11 to 17. 11 to 17 first. My body thus, and all my goods besides, and all my merits gain and to be gained, I give them all and do not count the cost to bring about the benefit of beings. Nirvana is attained by giving all. Nirvana is the object of my striving, and all must be surrendered in a single instant. Therefore, it is best to give it all to others. This body I have now resigned to serve the pleasure of all living beings. Let them ever kill, despise, and beat it, using it according to their wish. And though they treat it like a toy or make of it the butt of every mockery, my body has been given up to them. Why should I make so much of it? And so let beings do to me whatever does not bring them injury. Whenever they may think of me, let this not fail to bring them benefit. And if in my regard they have a thought of anger or respect, may these states always be the cause whereby their good and wishes are fulfilled. All those who slight me to my face or do to me some other evil, even if they blame or slander me, may they attain the fortune of enlightenment. So here, these are very strong words. Yeah? These are very strong words. These are very big kind of words. I mean, simple words, but what they're expressing is really big. It says, I am willing to give everything, this body, what this body owns, all my goods, all my stuff, and then even the immaterial, my merits, all of that. It says, I'm willing to give it all away in order to achieve the state of Buddha for the benefit of all beings. So, putting aside temporarily the actual words used in this section, first we need to understand that what it is saying, what Shantideva is saying here is our clinging to self, our attachment to self, that lies at the root of that is the root cause of our wandering in samsara, one, and two, and our inability to benefit others. Now, of course, this clinging to self, it happens because of not understanding, right, the nature of this self. So anyway, clinging and grasping, clinging and grasping on like self, gross levels of self, obvious gross level of self, to very subtle aspects of self, all of that prevents us from being truly happy ourselves, and also prevents us from helping to achieve the happiness of others. Now here, it is called lojong, it is called mind training. So what it means here is, what we should understand here is, Shantideva is not saying that right now, right at the beginning, you should give away your body, you should give away your things, you should give away your merit. He's not saying that. He's saying train the mind so that it begins to develop the capacity to do these things, to actually do these things. But right now, don't actually try to do it. Like, don't literally try to do all of it. Do it bit by bit. Meanwhile, on the mind level, on the heart level, begin to develop the capacity to do this. Aside from the issue that if we try to literally do this, give away this body, give away what we have, what we own, give away our merit. The merit part, you can also think of it in terms of like giving away, like what makes us feel good, about ourselves. Like we are, we have a certain image of ourselves, and we feel good about ourselves. Oh, I'm talented, or I'm successful. Kind of like emotional well-being, that sort of feeling. So these things, they're not bad. The body is not bad. The things that you own is not bad. Your merit is not bad. But they are the basis of grasping. So in this sense here, this lojong, this mind training, is to train us how to have a healthy relationship with these three things. So to express it differently, because sometimes we, use words like generosity, no ego clinging, no grasping. These are like words that we have, kind of like we say and we repeat a lot. Then we already forgotten what it actually means. So to put it in another way, it is to say we train ourselves so that with regards to this body, with regards to what this body has now owned, my house, my car, my bank account, my refrigerator, my iPhone, blah, 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 all of that. Then my reputation, my worth, my self-esteem, blah, 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 all of that. With regards to these three areas, relax. Relax. Don't, just relax. With skill, take good care of these three things. But also know, nature of these things is impermanent. Furthermore, not only with skill I don't mean like, skill in exercising, skill in getting stuff, skillfulness of the heart, meaning don't obsess, don't fixate, skill in that sense, right? And then do it in a way that don't create more suffering, right? Skill in that sense. So with skill, take good care of these three. But now Shantideva says, also, next step is dedicate these three towards the goal of Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. And this is the Lojong. This is what we're training ourselves to dedicate these three domains: this body, what we own, all the stuff we have, and even our merit. Dedicate these three, offer these three towards the goal of achieving Buddha. Yeah. So first, I think it's really important, with skill, we need to know how to relate to, how to take care of these three things. Because if you're going to make them gifts to others, then you have to know how to make this gift good. So it cannot be with the attitude of like you abuse these three and then you say, okay, now I'm going to give it away. It's not a very nice gift. So first, with skill, take care of this body in a skillful way. Take care of your things. Take care of your merit. Build up the merit. Build up the body. Build up your things to the degree that it's helpful. Then next step, which is what this lojong is, give them away. So verse 12 says, the goal of nirvana, the goal of being free, liberated from suffering, is achieved by giving all. So giving. So the practice of giving or the practice of generosity, even although we always said, this is like the most basic and the most foundational of all the qualities that we should develop. The first of the six paramita that we should practice, giving or generosity. But don't think that, oh, this is just, like Buddhism for dummies, But most of us, if we want to know how much grasping we have, we can look and see, how generous we are. How generous we are, what does that mean? It's not about, how big a check you can write to give away. I mean, it can manifest that way, it can be expressed that way, but even more basic, more on the root level is how open are we? How spacious are we? How relaxed are we? When our bodies and minds are open, spacious, and joyful, then it can spontaneously, then body and mind can spontaneously respond to the needs of others. And this comes from training the mind, training our attitude. So we need to train until, what like it says on verse 13 and 14, we have to train our minds until, even if they were to kill and despise and beat and use this body like a toy, and to for them to mock, for them to insult, even then, we are able to be open and spacious. But right now, even just when people comment and say, "Oh, you have put on weight," already we're like, "What?" 50 years ago, it's just the opposite, when people say, "You have lost weight." Or that haircut don't suit you. Uh-oh. So we have these, immediately So here the Lojong is saying, so it's not saying, please don't misunderstand, kill, despise, beat, treat it like a toy. It's not saying that these are good things, that you should go let people do this to your body. It is saying that when you have trained your mind to become so open, spacious, relaxed, joyful, even if they were to do such horrible things to your body, you will not get worked up. But of course, right now we know we're quite far from this ability. So that's why we have to train the mind. So 15 says, so let them do whatever they want to do to me, as long as it doesn't bring them injury, and let them think however they want to think of me. But no matter what they do to me or think of me, even if it is kind of detrimental to me, I wish them well. I wish them happiness, is what 15 is saying. So this is the opposite of what we habitually do. What we habitually do is we take offense. And be careful these days, it's very trendy to take offense. We take offense when people say things about how we look. You're too fat, you're too thin, you're too tall, you're too short. Now we have very sophisticated ideology and ideas of how people should not say that about me. So then our taking offense, now has become very fancy, like you are body shaming me. Then you take offense, You're causing shame to my body. You should just accept my body as it is, Please don't misunderstand, I'm not saying that we should go body shame people. I'm just saying be careful. Don't take offense ourselves. Likewise, oh, you're insulting my ethnicity, you're insulting my nationality, you're insulting Asians, you're insulting Americans, you're insulting blah, blah, blah. And so we go around taking offense, collecting offense, then getting very upset, This is samsara. This is how suffering comes. Again, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying, like it is like it is okay or fine, that people are racist, people are sexist, or people are inconsiderate. No, we're not saying that. How we act, how we treat others, we got to be vigilant about not causing harm and not causing suffering to others. But at the same time, we should not become so sensitized that the slightest thing we take offense, then it's suffering. So as a footnote, in terms of speech, in terms of what we say, Buddha gave very simple but practical and faultless standards for us to consider when we engage in speech. Three things. Is it true? Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it timely? Whatever we say. And the fourth one is, can we say it skillfully? So whatever we say, first, is it true or not true? If it is not true, then the other three don't even need to think about it. So if it passes the first, it is true, then you can proceed to the second. Is it going to be helpful? Helpful, and the next one is closely related, which is it the right time? Helpful and timely, if it passes those two, then finally Buddha says, be sure that it can be said in a way that people will most likely hear it the way you mean it. So anyway, right now let's take a short break, just a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and continue this. And today also I need to end a little earlier because I need to do a bunch of things for today. Okay, let's see if there are any questions from today or from the last class. Questions or comments? Maria Carmen, hello, hello.
Hi, Juan.
I see a question. Let me go read it. May I know some examples of what benefits can their negative action bring to them? Good question. So question is, may I know some examples of what benefits can their negative actions bring to them? This is in reference to verse 15, line 4. Yes, good. No example and no benefits. In fact, like in verse 16 it says, and if in my regard, meaning if because of me, they become angry or they become respectful to me, may this be the cause of their good and their wishes fulfilled. It says this. So then some people think, oh, you mean like getting angry at someone can fulfill their wishes? you know? So in fact, some people interpret it that way. They say, if you harm a bodhisattva, even though in the short term it is negative, sometime in the future it can become something good. That basically says, no, this is wrong view. That the idea that if you harm a bodhisattva, right? If you become angry at a bodhisattva, that somehow at some point, this becoming angry can become something good. He says this is a confusion with regards to karma. So like verse 17, on the basis of verse 17, verse 17 says, all those who slight me to my face or do me some other evil, even if they blame or slander me, may they attain the fortune of enlightenment, right? Verse 17. On the basis of that, there were some people who say, oh, the Bodhisattva's vow is so powerful, so that even when people relate to them in a negative way, those people will achieve benefit. Yeah. So on that basis, some people actually believe and teach that oh, it's okay with bodhisattvas. It's so amazing, right? They're so powerful that even if you cannot make a positive connection to them, even if you throw a shoe at them, it's good, because in the future it will turn into something good. So Kyoba Rinpoche said, so why? Because here what Shantideva is saying, in terms of how we as bodhisattvas, meaning those who have committed to awakening, in terms of we as bodhisattvas training our mind, this is the kind of prayer and this is the kind of vow we have to make. We have to make this kind of aspiration prayers so that precisely to do the opposite of what we habitually do, which is we take offense at what people do to us, or what we think people are doing to us, or what people are saying to us, or people are saying about us, or how people feel about us. Habitually, we take offense, The opposite of that is to make this kind of aspiration prayers, to train our mind to say, even if people think badly of us, even if people do bad things towards us, may they have happiness. May they be free from suffering. We are doing this to train, never praying like this. Therefore, killing, stealing, harming can ever result in something good. No amount of even Buddhas, even if Buddhas pray or make the vow, may those who kill Buddhas become liberated into samsara. That will not change the karma of killing Buddhas. if it's possible. Oh, now a more challenging question. Will negative action done towards a bodhisattva, but done out of ignorance, will that sow a seed of connection with the bodhisattva? So that's the question. Yes, of course. But this applies not just to bodhisattva. To anyone, this applies the same. Then, in terms of the negative action, negative action done out of ignorance doesn't produce the same karma as negative action done intentionally. So that part we need to understand. A very famous statement that the Buddha made is, he says, karma is intention. So what that means is, without intention, it does not produce karma. Like sneezing, for example, it's a karma. It's an action. It's not a karma. It's an action. It's sneezing. But usually sneezing doesn't come with intention. It's just your body's reflex to certain things happening. But, you know, if you are sneezing, now you're like, I'm going to go give COVID to these people I don't like. Sneeze. That becomes karma. But let's say, this person, is about to be taken, forcibly taken to join a militia to go fight in a war, right? And somehow you have COVID, and you say, I'm going to sneeze at this person so that they can get COVID, but it will be a very mild COVID. Somehow, if you know that, then you go sneeze at this person. And as a result of this person getting COVID, they are not taken away to fight in a war. And then you save this person's life. Then that becomes good karma. Verse 13, the body is given to be despised, beaten, or killed. But verse 15 specifies, whatever does not bring them injury. Wouldn't despising, beating, or killing always bring injury to the perpetrator? Yes, of course. Please don't forget, Shantideva is being poetic here. This is called poetic license. He's making a point. He's not writing an academic article with lots of footnotes. Not bring them injury. He's people beating me, eating me, and harming me, right? They themselves don't get injured. Then it's okay. I will let them beat and harm me. This is what he's talking about. It's saying that he's a bodhisattva should be so thinking about others, that even when people beat them, they say, oh, please, please don't hurt yourself beating me, okay? You should not hold them. So why does Shantideva say this? Stating it so in such an extreme way? Because we habitually do the other extreme. When people are not even actually thinking of harming us, we project and say, oh, they want to harm me, they don't like me, they want to do this to me. They didn't smile at me. I'm supposed to sit on the front row, they make me sit on the third row because they're jealous of me. So the stories of people, this is another question. So the stories of people trying to poison some great masters comes from misunderstanding this section? No, I don't think so. Those were just people trying to kill the great masters because they don't perceive those great masters as great masters. They perceive those great masters as opposing what they, the people who do the poisoning, opposing them. I doubt anyone reads this and go, okay, let me go poison that person, that bodhisattva, so that I make a connection with that bodhisattva. And then another question, after taking bodhisattva vows, how are we going to continue the commitment in next life if we cannot remember our past life? So go ahead and translate the question. I think we don't need to worry about this. We just need to worry about how we are going to practice the Bodhisattva commitment this lifetime. My problem is, an hour later when I get on the highway and drive, I already forgot my Bodhisattva commitment that I was teaching, an hour earlier. That's the bigger problem that we need to be concerned about. So focus mostly on that. But then, if you are still wanting to know how, just look around, Some people from a very young age, they hear about the Bodhisattva vow immediately, Oh, yes, I'm going to take that. Some people, no matter how much you tell them about Bodhisattva, well, you tell them about Shantideva, they're like, this is all stupid. Where do you think this difference comes from? Things accumulated in the past. Habits formed in the past. They will ripen accordingly. Other questions? Yeah, so, Bodhisattva vow works on the same principle as vows of confusion.
Dr. Lan, repeat again that statement.
Bodhisattva vows work on the same principle as vows of confusion.
You continue, then I'll translate later. I cannot get the logic.
They work on the same principle as in whatever seed you plant, it's going to ripen. Sometimes we think, oh, Bodhisattva vow, oh, it's something so mysterious, something. It works exactly the same right now. Because we have not taken Bodhisattva vow, then you think, oh, I don't have any vows. No, you are vowing to stay in samsara. That's the vow we have now. Because we have so completely habituated samsara, because we have so completely habituated taken the vow of confusion and suffering, we don't even need special prayers when we wake up in the morning. May I vow to continue to be selfish, to only think of myself, and to remain in this sad state of suffering until samsara ends. But essentially, that's the vow we are operating under right now. And because of that, Buddhas have to design special things. Oh, Bodhisattva vow, oh, opening prayers, oh, recitation, oh, lojong, oh, blah, 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 oh, blah, blah, blah. In order to break this other vow, this other habit that we have. Yeah, it's like, you know, it is quite amazing, you know, that we all, you know, make this vow, make this aspiration. Twice a week, we will spend 2 hours to study bodhicitta. So that's 4 hours out of 168 hours, by the way. What about the other 164 hours? Dominated by the other vow. And then we say, oh, I don't know, Dharma, I don't know if it's working. Yeah, so anyway, today we will end here. And this coming Saturday, unfortunately, speaking of habituating, we won't have class because I'm double booked. I have agreed to do a weekend program for a center. So this Saturday we will not meet. We will meet next Tuesday. doing a weekend retreat program on Zoom with Tibet House in Mexico on the principle of generosity, the deity Dambala. Some of you might get excited. Oh, Dambala, Dambala. But it's basically, here I'll tell you the truth, it's using Dambala deity of wealth to trick them into practicing bodhicitta. But most of the time, you know, people practice Dambala and turn into hungry ghosts. So be careful, you know. Don't turn deities into demons. Changchu semcho rinpoche magye parnam ge gyurche ge pa nyam pa me pa yang gone gong du pe wer shu.
Thank you.
Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Gracias, doctor Lai.
Sí, gracias,
Buenos
doctor
días.
Lee. Buenos días.
Thank you, Dr. Lai. See you on Tuesday.
Que le vaya muy bien, doctor Lee. Desde Cusco, abrazos.
Abrazos.